Welcome back to Red Devil News.
Aren't you excited that we don't have school next Monday?
Oh, yes. But why don't we have school?
Because Monday, January 20th, is Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Oh, yes. We should ask the social studies teachers around the school what they think about this historic day.
So, Bubness, who was Martin Luther King Jr.?
Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights activist from 1960s. He was a preacher, pastor from Georgia. Basically, was standing up for what he thought was right, for civil rights, for equality, for all people.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Mr. Tadowski. My question is, what do you know about Martin Luther King Jr.?
Martin Luther King Jr. Interesting topic, interesting man. He's has a very interesting and complicated legacy, more even than some people realize. Obviously, he was integral to the civil rights movement in the 60s, which a lot of people don't realize is within living memory. So, like, the civil rights movement happened, and people are still alive today for whom their rights did not exist until this thing happened. And Martin Luther King was one of those who brought those about. And he was an interesting figure. I've advocated for nonviolence, but had a lot of other views that sometimes people tend to forget nowadays. And it's important to recognize and remember him not only as a civil rights leader, but also as an important kind of progressive figure in America's history, and to not forget the fullness of his legacy that he leaves behind.
Thank you.
What do you know about Martin Luther King Jr.?
I wish I knew more, but I know that he grew up in a family that experienced a lot of racism. I know that his father was a preacher, and this is how he kind of became a good public speaker. And he became pretty much the leading person of the civil rights movement. He himself did not pass any laws, but he inspired a lot of change in America. And that is why we still remember him and celebrate him today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jaden.
And I'm Alex.
Welcome back to this week's shout out.
This week's shout outs go to:
first off, we have our 6th grader, Brinley, for being an amazing person to be around.
For our 7th grade, we have Ariana Myers for being a nice and funny person.
Kaden Black for being a good friend.
And Dakota Steele for being a great person. Clara Fitz and Bailey Nichols for being great people.
And lastly, Scarlett Hayes for being an amazing friend.
We hope you guys have an amazing day.
Now for Staff Member of the Week. Drum roll, please.
It's a tie between
Mr. Stoll
and Miss Cross.
That's all for this week.
Now on to weather with Mackenzie in Brooklyn.
Welcome back to Red Devil Weather.
Here's the weather starting with this weekend. Saturday is going to have a high of 31 and a low of 10 and is going to be mostly cloudy.
Sunday is going to have a high of 13 and a low of -4 and is going to be partly cloudy.
Now next week's weather. Monday is going to have a high of 7 and a low of -2 and is going to be partly cloudy.
Tuesday is going to have a high of 14 and a low of 9 and will be partly cloudy.
Wednesday is going to have a high of 22 and a low of 16 and will be partly cloudy.
Thursday is going to have a high of 23 and a low of 16 and will be partly cloudy.
Friday is going to have a high of 27 and a low of 21 and it will be partly cloudy.
That's all for the weather next week. Now on to sports.
What sports are you looking forward to in high school?
Football and wrestling, basketball,
Baseball. I'm looking forward to baseball, football, volleyball, and wrestling. Very excited for in high school.
baseball, football, and Siberian ticklefoot. Cross country, woo! So my ear actually got messed up, I think, from cross country.
You have cross country ear?
I guess you could call it that.
Sports in high school are you excited for?
I'm excited for basketball, tennis.
What are you looking forward to in high school?
Wrestling.
Anything else?
I don't know.
Anything else?
I don't know.
Football.
Maybe football. Men's volleyball.
Swim.
Polo, swimming.
Cross country.
Cross country.
Multi-sport athlete.
Multi-sport athlete.
Thank you.
Thank you, teachers, for telling us a little more about Martin Luther King Day.
Also, thank you for shoutouts, weather, and sports of this week. Now let's break the silence with Colton Gilbert.
Ian Booth. Do you know what the school has to offer for mental health issues?
They have the break room for when you're feeling overwhelmed.
What else? Do you know anything else?
They have I don't know.
Okay. Well, you got one, so good job. Here with
William Gray.
Kale Wimberly.
Evan Ruggie.
what do you know the school has to offer for mental health issues?
Miss Yerrick.
All the counselors.
We have a room we can go to if you need a break from class.
The quiet room.
Bang, bang, high five, high five, high five, bang. Who am I here with?
Anthony Gutierrez.
What do you know the school has to offer for mental health?
The counselor.
Yeah, you got it right. Bang. Who am I here with?
Milana House.
And Autumn Brock.
What do you think the school has to offer for mental health?
The school's counselor.
The school's counselor.
Who am I here with?
Brooklyn Reese Fisher. Mackenzie Chesner.
What do you think the school has to offer for mental health?
The school's counselor. The school's counselor.
Dylan Vanderlaan.
What do you think the school has to offer for mental health?
The counselor.
Got it right. Who am I here with?
Mrs. Urich.
What do you have to offer for mental health?
Well, in the guidance department, we have lots of things we can do for mental health. So one, anyone can reach out to talk to me or Mrs. Wearsby by using the counseling request form on your devices. We also have Crown Counseling that comes to meet with students if you need extra help with your mental health. We have the break room if you just need a minute to reset. And we've got groups and things that we'll work on so that way we can build more connections, because having more friends and connections with people a lot of times helps you when you're struggling with mental health.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colton, for a great start of your segment.
Since we already know teachers know a lot about Martin Luther King, let's see how much the students of LMS know about it.
What year do you guys think the March on Washington was in? You could just guess.
Probably somewhere from the 1960s.
1960.
Thank you. Where was MLK born?
He was born in Georgia,
Which is,
home to the city of Atlanta.
thank you. We have a question for you. Who was the woman who initiated the Montgomery bus boycott by refusing her seat on the bus?
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks.
Where was Martin Luther King Jr. born?
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia.
All right.
Atlanta, Georgia.
1998.
Bro said. All right. And city was Martin Luther King Jr. born in?
Memphis. Chicago, Illinois.
No clue. Did Martin Luther King Jr. give his famous I Have a Dream speech?
San Diego Zoo.
Okay then.
The Lincoln Memorial.
The one in DC.
Dallas Cowboys?
No.
What? Oh.
Yeah. The one in Washington DC. No.
Oh.
It was at San Diego Zoo. No, it was at the March.
JJ, your was the March on Washington?
1962.
1965.
1966.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for getting, most of those answers correct.
Martin Luther King's story is really cool, and it's something you can learn from.
That's all for this week's news.
This is Red Devil News.
We'll see you next week.
Who is the woman that is... Wait!